UK podcast is proudly sponsored by EcoSmart. EcoSmart help people to find the most suitable and affordable solutions to reduce their energy bills. They will assess your property and determine which system would be the most suitable for you to power your home with cheaper, greener energy. Not just that, but EcoSmart can also provide scaffolding services that can change charging ports at home for your electric cars, and many more services that can provide. Call them now on 0800 222 9532. EcoSmart, leading the way in renewable energy.
Yes, people, what's happening? Nice one for coming back to the Fuse UK. It's much appreciated as always. Our next guest tonight, the number one, now in the world rankings as well, with Dave Mundell moving down to 175. What's he doing in the number one rankings? Danny, the bastard Christie, the light heavyweight champion in the UK. What's happening, bro? You good?
Yes, Lou. How are you doing, Chava?
I'm all well, mate. How's things?
All good, mate. Mint, just plodding away with training, working. I've just wrapped the live up there on my channel. I was on it for about 40, 50 minutes or something, a bit of crack.
Yeah, Custy, man. You're looking well, bro.
Yeah, I feel good, mate. Just back in the groove of things, training hard and putting my recovery first, working hard, family time. Yeah, it's all the stars are aligning, mate.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I thought that we'd start off by taking it back from the Holmes fight. Like, I've seen you've been travelling a bit. Like, have you enjoyed your time off?
Yes and no. I mean, staying out of the gym was just no good for us. The recipe for disaster, really, me staying out the gym. So, you know, I regret not being in the gym for 3 months because it didn't do me head any favours. And when I did go back to the gym 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's like starting all over again. But, you know, the time off is what it is. I probably should have took about a month, really, and got back in the gym. But these things happen. We get complacent, don't we? And, you know, start thinking we're it. And, you know, back to the grind, mate. And it's put us back in the mental headspace that I need to be in, you know, feeling good, practicing gratitude and ready to put on a show next time I'm out.
100%, mate. You got to think, though, as well, it must have been hard for you, mate. Like, obviously, all the hype you've had, being one of the boys, like, deep down, loving to be, like, fucking out with the boys and having a bit of crack, then changing your life. Like, obviously, going into recovery and then all this happening to you where you're getting all the attention and that. Obviously, it's must have been hard. Do you know what I mean?
It's had its moments, mate. That's right. It's definitely had its moments. It's like I'm just a person. You know, I'm just a normal working class lad, and to go from, you know, from nothing really to being in active addiction to, you know, kind of blowing up a bit on YouTube and getting all the attention I get and, you know, doing well in the BKFC, and it comes with a lot of attention and I dare say pressure, but, you know, it can get to us a bit. You know, at times it gets to us, and if my head's not in the right space and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, as in training and recovery, then it doesn't take long, mate, before, you know, bad things happen.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I've seen that you've been getting back in the mix of things with Wayne and Aggie and that. How are you feeling? Are you feeling like, are you back there now?
Yeah, I'm back where I should be, mate. You know, I'm not quite as fit as I was at the back end of my last camp, but I'm not too far away. Definitely on the right road. I've had some full sparring with Mickey Stewart, my man Mickey Hammers. I've had some a couple of 4 a.m. spars this week, so they'll be going on the next episode of The Road to the Top, which I think might be out on Monday, Tuesday next week. But some good footage, took some bombs. You know, I couldn't chew my food for a day or two when I had sore hands. But it's the necessary evil, and, you know, it's all in the name of getting better.
You've sparred with that Mickey for a while now, haven't you? Isn't it anything that he's interested in doing? Because he looks like he's a rough lad when he's in the ring with you, like.
He's an incredibly rough lad, and by far the biggest puncher I've ever shared a ring with. You know, the spars are like fights, really. I would love Mickey to do it. It's just Mickey's got his lifestyle and he likes partying and that. But I would love for him to be part of this camp. You know, he's on about getting fit and doing a bit more cardio, and I really hope he does. You know, but he's kind of been singing this tune for the last 3 years now. You know, if he got fit and he had 5 rounds in the bank, mate, he would take over his division in the BKFC. I've got no doubt about it. He's 40 years old. and he's an absolute animal. You know, he's just one of them.
Comes forward as well, doesn't he?
He's just born to fight. You know, he's just born to fight. He's durable and he's a massive puncher, and he causes a lot of people a lot of problems.
Yeah, it'd be good to see him in there, man. And obviously, to fill your days out now, you've gone back to do a bit of grafting, that, haven't you? How are you finding that, bro?
Mint, mate, back on the tarmac, back at work. You know, it's not quite as physical as it was on the scaffold, but it's still, you know, plenty of work, shovel and batter and tar. You know, it's 10-hour days. So it's just what I needed, mate. It's just that bit of consistency and that bit of something that I need to get out of bed for. And obviously the money's nice. So, you know, it's win-win really back to work for me.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And obviously it's no good, is it? Like, obviously you can only train so many hours in a day. The rest of the day you're fucking thinking, what am I going to do?
Exactly, mate. You know, if I'm sat on the couch for any length of time, then it's not a good thing, you know.
So when you're not actually in camp for the fight, are you still ticking away doing bits like getting up for a jog and that, or you just literally doing nothing at all?
Well, for the last 14 months, since sort of Christmas last year, I was flat out in the gym. I never stopped. And by the time the Anthony Holmes fight come about, I was 3 camps back to back without hardly having a day off. So I was incredibly fit and strong. And then I had that 3 month off, and it did cost us a bit. But up until the Holmes fight, I was never out the gym, you know, and I want that. That's what I want back. You know, I only want to have the odd day off now and then. Even when I'm sore, I should be going through the motions and just doing something. I treat myself to a day off training tonight because I was very sore from a big strength session I had yesterday. So I'm having a day off and I'll be back grinding tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the only thing. When you get back into it, you have to rip all your muscles again, don't you, and go through the pain back.
That's it, starting again, mate.
But still doing the cold water therapy and things like that.
Yeah, I can't get enough of the cold. You know, I love that cold water, that feeling, what it gives us, and it's the circulation going. It's good for injuries. It's good for my old injuries, but especially for like new inflammation when you've been training, sparring, hard circuits. You know, there's nothing better for you than, you know, cold water.
Yeah, there's loads of good benefits from it. Like from what people, everyone's doing it now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's endless, mate. And see the sleep what you have. You know, like I was never been I haven't been a bad sleeper, but I usually get about 6 hours. Yeah. You know, when I go into the cold, I'm getting between 7 and 8, and it's that deep REM sleep, you know, that proper recovery sleep, what you need. And the cold, the benefits to the cold, mate, is just, it's endless.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try it one day, like properly, 100%.
Yeah, you need to.
But I've seen there's been, like, not in a nasty way or anything, but there's been like a little back and forth between you and Mike Perry. Obviously, he's retaliating. Like, there's a possibility of that fight happening, don't you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that fight. You know, I would love that fight because I know what type of fight that would be. It'd be a stand and bang type fight. You know, both of us rolling the dice. You know, and he's fought at 185 in his last fight, so he looked strong at 185. I'd love to fight him, but it's one of those as well. It's like, I might not quite have the profile yet for a Mike Perry fight. You know, I know he fights these big names, and you know we'll maybe get there, you know, in a fight or two. But you know, sometimes I'm a Mike Perry fan. I want to say first of all, before I go any further, I am a Mike Perry fan. But every now and then I'll leave a little sarky comment trying to get a bite out of him, and I always get a bite out of him. You know what I mean? He always says something, so you know, he might be interested or he might not. He maybe just thinks I'm a bit cocky or whatever, but you know, I'm not crossing the line with him, mate. You know, and I'm just trying to make a fight. You know how it works.
Yeah, 100%. Because you've got to remember, mate, before all this BKFC and that, Mike Perry knew who Danny Christie was, didn't he?
That's right. He come over to us at the press conference in London and shook my hand and told us I could fight. You know, in his American accent, it was like, "Yeah, you can fight, man." And I shook his hand, and I've always been a big fan of him. You know, I always have. But like I say, this is the fight business. This is what it is. It's a business. So if me and Mike Perry can ever share the ring, you know, I'll show him what time it is.
Yeah, definitely, mate. That'd be a massive fight, wouldn't it, over here? That?
Yeah, of course it would, mate. We'll sell Carlisle United ground out.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And on your mornings, are you back to like planning your days out and writing all the targets that you want to be doing during the day?
Yeah, I write stuff down every morning. It just helps with my head. It gives us that bit of a structure. and, you know, making promises to myself, stuff that I need to do, you know, and I pray, meditate, I do step work, I go to meetings, and I speak to my sponsor, and just one of the biggest things for me is just having 5 minutes to myself in the morning, just sat on the couch with no music on, no nothing on, just have 5 minutes to myself with my eyes closed and just sit and gather my thoughts for the day, and, you know, really put that gratitude out there of how grateful I am, because, you know, I'm incredibly grateful. It's, you know, from where I was 2 years ago, mate, I really am living a life beyond my wildest dreams. You know, I've got everything I ever wanted and more, much more. You know,
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have a couple of notes, you know, but I've got like a level of spiritual enrichment, what I never thought I would have. You know, all my relationships with Alice and with my kids and friends and family, they've just never been better. They've never been stronger. And that's because I'm in the better place. And this good place, this good feeling that I've got, like it oozes out and it spills out into your relationships and your friendships, you know, so the benefits just keep going.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And say like you missed a day, like, or don't you ever miss a day writing things down? Do you feel it if you missed it, Joe?
Yeah. I can miss the odd day, you know, I can miss the odd day now and then, you know, and I make sure I have a little bit longer to myself. If I don't have a pen and paper handy and I can't get anything wrote down, which happens, you know, now and then, I'll just give myself that little bit extra time, gathering my thoughts, meditating. I'll maybe do 10 minutes and just go through the list of things that I've got to do in my head. You know, it isn't quite the same, but, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, I can't stress enough that in me having 5 or 10 minutes on a morning to myself, just sitting there, you know, try it. Anybody just try it. You know, I thought all that meditating stuff was for hippies and divvies, you know, and I never thought it worked. It works. Trust me, it works. If you just give yourself that extra bit of time on a morning, so you're not up out of bed, straight out the door to work, you know, you haven't got a chance to even process the day or express any gratitude. Just 5-10 minutes on a morning, just to yourself. Just let your thoughts come and let your thoughts go. If there's something you don't want to be thinking, just say, yeah, thank you for that. Let it come through your thoughts and move on to, you know, to some positive thinking. And yeah, it's gold for me, that gold.
I've got a couple of questions here, just what people are sending in.
Yeah.
Who's your dream fight, Danny?
Dream fight, Lorenzo Hunt. You know, I want Lorenzo Hunt. I'm a big Lorenzo Hunt fan, for one. You know, he's one of my bare knuckle heroes. I love everything that he does in the ring. Outside the ring, he's got the character down to a fine art. You know, he's that that bad man type character, and I love all that stuff. You know, I'm not quite as I don't want to say brash, but sort of that. I haven't really got that flamboyancy. You know, I just try and be myself as much as I can. You know, I don't really want to come outside my own character, but Lorenzo Hunt's got it down to a fine art. You know, he's just one of them people. You know, I admire him. Who can't respect what he's done in the BKFC? He's like poster boy for the BKFC. Yeah. And obviously that's the fight that I was told I was going to have next. But, you know, things don't always work out that way. It seems like I've been sidelined a little bit because he's going up to cruiserweight to fight to fight Camozzi. And Lorenzo Hunt's at that stage and is in the position where he can pick and choose between what weight he wants to go at, who he wants to fight, you know, and that's credit to him. You know, he's got himself in that position. He's the man, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and if he wants to pick and choose who he fights and what weight he wants to fight at, then, you know, fair play to him and full credit to him. But I've got my eyes on him, you know, and if I've got to fight one or two people in the top 5, so be it. You know, I'll make some more statements. I'll make a bit more noise. And, you know, I'm confident that fight will happen before long.
That's another fight as well where Lorenzo said it would be a great fight and interacted with it and that, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, we speak a little bit every now and then in private. You know, we've exchanged a few messages. And, you know, I'd like to think me and him are quite cool. Yeah. You know, we seem to be quite cool with each other. You know, and if we do ever fight, you know, it will be strictly business. Like I say, I'm a fan and I'm an admirer of Lorenzo Hunt and what he's done. You know, it'll be strictly business. It will never be a personal affair. I know how he likes to, you know, go on with his opponents and that. And if he chooses to do that with me, that's his business, you know. But any admiration I've got for him will be put to a side after that first bell. you know, and I believe I'll show him what time it is.
Yeah, man. And another one here from Sharon Cleland. Danny, can I ask a question? At the Leeds event, Wayne and the trainers were going crazy when you put Holmes down. Did they ever say what was going through their mind?
No, not really. I mean, listen, Wayne and Aggie and Danny, the lads that were in my corner, they're just very, very good friends. You know what I mean? They're like brothers to us, and they've got that emotional investment, you know, so they were just obviously elated, you know, after having to follow him round for them 3-4 rounds, you know, that I eventually clipped him and got him down. They were just made up for us. And, you know, that's how a good team should behave. You know, they couldn't control their emotions. They were that buzzing for us. It just spilled out into their actions. So, yeah, it was good to see. And that like pat on the back that you get off them when you get the job done, you know, it makes the whole camp, it makes everything that you've done together, it makes everything worthwhile. You know, when you get the result that you've worked hard for, you know, there's no feeling like it.
Just going back to that night, mate. What a fucking night that was, mate.
Yeah.
What a night. It was absolutely bouncing the place, wasn't it, mate?
It was, mate. I'd done a lot of tickets and I had a good following. And yeah, listen, I knew, you know, all the way in that camp, right the way up to that fight, you know, I knew when I caught him, he was going to feel it, you know, and he ran out of gas. You know, I put that much pressure on him. He's never really had that sort of pressure put on him in the entirety of his career. And just look at some of the lads who he's beat. He's beat all the best fighters in this country. You know, his record spoke for itself. You know, nobody's come close to doing that to Anthony Holmes. So it was probably, well, shall I say, definitely the highlight of my career so far, you know, and it's only going to get better.
And how did it feel today, like waking up and seeing that you'd obviously moved up in the rankings to number 2 now? Obviously, I think it's on all the platforms now, isn't it? Even the official BKFC.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. You know, it feels good to get that recognition off the BKFC. I mean, especially after 3 fights. You know, but you're talking about a worldwide, global organisation who specialise in bare knuckle, you know, so it's not like you haven't got some idiot doing the rankings, you know what I mean? Whoever's doing them is an expert in that field. So the fact that they've put us at number 3 after 3 fights, you know, I'd probably put that down to performances and power, you know, and I'm a problem. I am a problem. You know, give me anyone out of that top 5 and I'll mince them. You know, I will mince them. Like I said, the only one I think, looking at the top 5, I think there's possibly 2 fights what won't happen, and that's the Mundell fight, purely because he's the middleweight champion and he's staying at 175. You know, and I think Mundell is in the right spot as number 1 if he was a light heavyweight. You know, because he's an incredible talent. His balance, his shot selection, you know, his range and his power is brilliant. But the fact that he's not a 185 or no more, you know, who am I to say, you know, but the man's come out himself and said he's staying at 175. So I can't see that fight happening. And the Mike Richmond fight, Mike Richmond said that he's retired. So maybe the BKFC knows something that I don't know. You know, he maybe is continuing to fight. But from what I hear, he is retired. So that fight maybe won't happen either, which leaves Doolittle and Warren. Well, I'd love to fight any of them 2, you know, and knocking them flat the way I will, you know, be another brilliant statement, you know, and I'll maybe slide into that number 1 spot. But only time will tell. You know, this is in God's hands. What will be, will be. You know, I'll just know I'll fold them all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're in a position now in your career where you don't need to rush into fights and that, is it? You just need to wait for that fight now. That's worth it for you. Exactly,
mate. You know, the days of me fighting anybody, anywhere for a $5, you know, them days are long gone. Do you know what I mean? I want big fights. You know, I'm in that position. The BKFC have deemed me the 2nd best light heavyweight in the world. So, you know, I'm in a good position to not dictate, but ask for you know, the best bare knuckle fighters in the world, you know, and these are the fighters that I want to be facing. You know, I don't want to be fighting anybody, you know, Dave from the shop. You know, I want to be fighting the best lads in the world, you know, and I really, really believe I'll fold them all. You know, I don't think we've seen the best out of me yet, even though I am slightly past my prime and I've got a lot of injuries. I just look at that roster and I just think, yeah, you're all mine.
Mate, it's an exciting division as well because they're all fucking good lads, aren't they, in the division, really?
They are. Yeah, it's a stacked division.
Someone's just asking here about Aggie. Got to drop one in there for Aggie. Is he going in the BKFC? Yes, he is. He's just waiting for this fight to get confirmed, as far as I'm aware. And what record he's going to be, Danny?
Listen, Aggie Faulkner hits extremely hard. You know, I haven't had a full spar with him yet, thank God. You know, and I don't think I would like one. You know, but Aggie, he's just got a heart of gold, Aggie. You know what I mean? He's one of them lads. It's just a pleasure to be around. It's good to train with him. We push each other on, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, you know, in the BKFC, because if he catches you clean, you know, you are going to sleep. You know, there's no two ways about it. It hits that hard.
Definitely, mate. It's this pack a punch, man. Fuse, send a big respect from me to Danny if you see this, please, pal.
Thank you, pack a punch, man. Appreciate that.
There you go. Best night ever. Can't wait for the next one. Danny is a gentleman and will be world champion in BKFC. Big respect from the Oxford Joyces.
Thank you, Willie Joyce. I appreciate that, my man. Big shout out the Oxford Joyces. Respect.
But yeah, mate, it's just exciting times now, and it's just waiting out for that fight that's going to happen. So are you just going to keep ticking over now, Dan, and just wait for that call?
Just going to stay in the gym, mate. And as soon as I know what's happening, you know, I'll make an announcement. But like I say, it has to be someone in the top 5 for me. It just has to be. You know, anything else won't do. You know, like I say, if I was just fighting for the money, I would take a fight with anybody, you know, to pay the bills. But, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in an okay position financially, and it's not about the money. You know, this is about legacy. It's about fighting the best fighters, you know, and it's about becoming the world champion, you know, and that's what I'm on a mission to do.
And do you see yourself in 2 years' time having that world title belt? Like, do you visualize all this, or you just see, because you've signed 5, you said you were only going to have one more fight, but you've signed a 5-fight contract deal now, haven't you, with the BKFC?
Well, that one more fight was on my mind because I thought I was getting Lorenzo Hunt next. You know, that was in the contract. I thought I'm going to put his chin into orbit and I'm going to sail off with 2 belts, you know, and show them to the kids, and the kids will have something to look for. And I could have got all the way to the top in 4 fights. But, you know, things change. Lorenzo Hunt, as I've said before, is well within his right to do whatever he pleases. You know, he's the man. But I think if I keep making statements and I keep folding motherfuckers, then, you know, this fight's got to happen sooner or later. So give me whoever in the top 5. And if Lorenzo is not available, give me someone else in the top 5. And we'll just keep knocking them out until we get there.
Danny, how do you score your performance so far in the BKFC, and who do you think would bring the best out of you? Big up 33k. Be Lorenzo, wouldn't it?
Would be Lorenzo. I mean, I think Doolittle would be a good opponent as well, just because he's slightly unorthodox and he hits hard and he's tough and durable. So I think that'll be a good fight as well. But, you know, it's Lorenzo Hunt that I'm looking for. You know, that's who I've got my eyes on. But we take it one fight at a time, you know. So whoever they put in front of me, I'm confident I can get them out of there. But I like them aggressive, come forward type fighters, you know. They're always going to be there. You know, me having to chest fighters around the ring, you know, isn't really what I'm used to. You know, this is bare knuckle. You should be taking chances. You should be meeting in the middle and rolling the dice, you know, and having a shootout. You know, they're the fights I like. Nothing makes you feel more alive when you're in the line of fire and you're looking at serious danger, you know, and it's a very dangerous game, isn't it? You know, we're only one punch away from becoming a cabbage. So, like I say, I don't want to be sticking around and being anybody's punch bag. You know, if I get a bad spark or I get chinned properly off someone, you know, I'll probably have to reevaluate the situation and see where we go from there. But as it stands, you know, I will fold them all, you know, and until that day, until that mindset is any different, you know, I'm going all the way to the top.
And before we wrap it up, mate, have you got a message to send out to the £185 division in the BKFC?
Yes, I'm number 1 in this division. Number 1. And anybody that wants it can get it. I don't want anybody outside the top 5. You know, I've earned my stripes. I'm number 2 in the rankings. So anybody in the top 5 can get it. Anybody at all. Just get in touch with the promotion. We'll make it happen, you know. And I'll shake your hand after it. But, you know, what's going to happen in there isn't going to be very good for you.
Sweet, bro. And is there anything else you want to share with us, Danny, before we wrap it up, mate?
Not really, mate. Just a thank you to everybody that's tuned in. A thank you to yourself, you know, for the interview and the questions. You know, big up the Fuse UK. Massive shout out to the BKFC. And, you know, we'll see where we go from here. But thank you, Lou.
Nice one, brother. I'll stay in touch, mate, and we'll keep them updated with any news that you have in the future, mate.
Absolutely, brother. Bye-bye for now, my man.
Thanks, soon, bro.
Bye-bye, bro.
Bye-bye. Yes, people, nice one for tuning in there. It's much appreciated. Let's go through the comments here. Right then. Big up Tony Me and big up Rick Doughty. Nice one, my mate. Big supporter, Rick Doughty. Always on all the videos. Appreciate that, mate. Big respect, man. Bro from, who was that? No, it's me brother. Big up the Fuse UK. Joe Hoggy, Pack a Punch Man. In the Red Corner podcast, Ross. Fortnite, Eruption, everybody tuning in. It's much appreciated. I'm going to go live again at 9 o'clock with Matilda Wilson. So, yep, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Stay tuned for the next podcast. I was going to say I'm going to put all Danny's things in the description, but I know every single one of you is already probably follow him. But it'll be there anyway, just in case you don't. Nice one, people. Podcast was sponsored by Eco Smart and Skins and Needles Barbers in Middlesbrough.